Hello, my name's Jeff Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm making this video and a series of videos because I am supporting Matthew Krause in the 85th Texas legislature in his attempts to repeal no-fault divorce. Many people think, what right does the government have to tell two people who just want to split and go their own ways? What right does the state of Texas have to tell them no? The reality is this. The nature of no-fault divorce, number one, it is a legal action in which one spouse is requesting the state and a judge to come and rule on their behalf against the other spouse, granting a divorce, granting that they no longer have the right responsibilities of marriage. Number two, in the majority of instances, the vast majority of instances, about 70%, some studies say a little bit less, some studies say more, one of the individuals does not want the divorce. So let's get rid of this no-fault divorce thing and let's call it forced divorce. Let's call it unilateral divorce. Let's call it imposed divorce. There is no difference between what we are allowing in America with the laws, the rules of no-fault divorce than what we condemn when we see it in other countries, like the countries that say all you have to do to divorce somebody is say, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you 3 times and you're divorced. We have the exact same thing, except in America, we have refined it because divorce has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. The divorce industry in America is a $50 billion a year industry. So if you think that the family law attorneys and the Family Law Association want to get rid of no-fault divorce, you've got to be kidding yourself. This is their cash cow. And it's not just the cash cow for the attorneys, because you can have guardian ad litems, you can have caseworkers involved, you can have psychologists and therapists and all sorts of things involved in here. Do not be deceived. No-fault divorce is a very profitable industry. And the attorneys who run divorce mills and who seek to separate families that should be reconciled, that could be reconciled, are the scum of the earth and just above the level of abortionists, in my opinion. If you refuse to condemn no-fault divorce, please don't promote yourself as a champion of marriage, because you aren't. You're saying that one person can get out of marriage at any time, can destroy families, can wreak havoc in society, upon the children, and everything else, just because he or she wants to pursue his or her own separate course. The other situation that people don't talk about is that even people who are deeply involved in the process of divorce, almost 40% of them are still hoping for some type of reconciliation. It has stunned a number of people because they've thought, well, once you file for divorce, you want a divorce. In many instances, that's not the case. People go into divorce not even knowing what exactly the outcome is going to be. People sometimes go into divorce thinking, well, maybe I'll get my husband's attention, or maybe I'll get my wife's attention. And the attorneys and the family law people will usually not seek to bring about reconciliation. This used to be their goal. In the 60s, that's what they tried to do. But it's too profitable, too lucrative of a business right now, and the better way to make money in this environment in the United States of America is to cause bitterness and inflame tensions and maybe create child custody issues and say, well, I deserve this. You may have been the partner at fault, but somehow you deserve all of his assets or all of her assets, and you should have the children and they should never see the children again. Oh, the attorneys love this thing. I worked with a paralegal and a legal secretary who said the attorney that she worked for used to say this: I love seeing pretty young women with pocketbooks coming into my office because he knew that he could drag them along and take a lot of money from them to get a divorce. Divorce is a serious problem, and yet we have enacted laws in the state of Texas that make it easier to get divorced rather than offering solutions, preventatives, cures, options for reconciliation to keep families together. It should be harder for couples with young children to divorce. I'll take this one step further. It's not just couples with young children, it's couples with any type of children. It should be harder for them to divorce. But speaking of the young children, in America today, when divorce takes place, 50% of the children are under the age of 6 years old. 50% of the children are under the age of 6 years old. They're going to be raised outside of an intact family, or maybe it'll be a blended family. Or maybe it'll be a person, maybe it'll be multiple families, or maybe it will be who knows what. But when you have this type of chaos in society, how do you expect society to do well? How do you expect our children to do well at the same time? So I support Matthew Krause in his efforts to repeal no-fault divorce. Matthew, go for it. I'm 100% behind you. There are many people in the state of Texas that are as well.